Hey everybody, welcome back to Isyour6covered. Appreciate you showing up. Today I want to take my top 3 compact pistols, basically designed for concealed carry, and we're going to put them together head to head and see what works out the best. I got to tell you, either way you go with all 3 of these, they're great. No complaints, but we're going to dive into it, have a little bit of fun. It's a nice cold winter day outside, so we're going to do some thoughts and tell me what you guys think as well. But we're going to talk about the Glock 19. This is a different version than most. It's a Vickers tactical version. It's got the metal sights and some other things. That's what I really liked about it. But we're going to talk about all of them, and we're going to see what you guys think. The HK VP9 as well, and the CZ P10C, which is also another favorite. So let's get over to the other camera, and then we will talk and have some fun. Hopefully you guys do some insight, leave some comments below on your favorite, the reasons why, and we shall see. I think all 3 have something to talk about as far as what is your favorite, but we will see. We'll jump into it right now. We'll get rid of the barrel. These 3 pistols are bone stock. See if I can get them in frame here. Move some stuff out of the way, and then we shall talk about it. Tighten up the camera. Appreciate you guys showing up, of course. That's always awesome. All right, that should work. Let's move that bad doggy in here. All right, so if you're not familiar, the CZ P10C, VP9, and the Glock 19. Some of the things you'll see a little bit different about this one compared to most is the RTF2 grip. Love this grip. Most of my Glocks, well, every one of them, but this one, I run grip tape on it. I just like to have a good aggressive grip feel. You can see all the way around on the back here. Both sides. This one is a Glock 3rd gen version, so it does have the finger grooves. Not too big of a deal. It fits my hand comfortably. Love this gun. You can see that it's got the fiber optic green front sight in the back, and here is the rear sight as well. See that nice glowing green sight. Very well done. They did a good job. Basically, they took the Glock gun. Vickers did a work together and kind of designed this pistol around it. All these guns have obviously been safety checked because safety is very important here on this channel, along with lots of other channels out there. Next up is the VP9 made by HK. Lots of pluses with this gun compared to some of the other ones. I'll tell you the advantages and disadvantages of what we think. And then along the 2017, I think it got recognized as the best pistol of 2017. This was CZ's first version of a striker-fired pistol. Great pistol. They did a great job right out of the gates. Some of the complaints is when this company over here has been around for so long, and these guys just started making striker fire a couple years ago now. We're almost in 2019. I really like a lot of things about this one over this one, but we'll get into it. I have favorites about all of them, and we will talk about them. Let me get over to see what you guys are saying as well. Bobby's out there from Bobby's Solar Homestead. Appreciate you showing up. The Crazy Scotsman asked if I am bored again, and the answer is yes. But you know what? I am having fun. I enjoy doing these videos. And I finally I haven't really done any comparisons or much talking about any 3 of these weapons. Had a chance to shoot them now for a few years. This one here, I run as my, basically my nightstand gun. I'm running it with, where the heck did I put it? The TLR1 HL, great light for what it is cost-wise. So that one normally sits on there in the nightstand, and I run a Glock 17 mag out of it like that. And this is, of course, is a base plate design, came with that gun. But it's been a great gun. Really appreciate it. Great to see you out there, Scotsman. Scotsman, I know out of all these guns, he's a huge CZ fan, so we'll give him a little bit of love, show him the thing. things you'll see about all three of these is they all have something to offer. When it comes to the CZ P10C, you're going to get a very nice grip. You're going to get an aggressive type of, it's not stippling, but aggressiveness to it. You got options of back straps. You're going to get ambidextrous everything basically on this one, as far as mag release on both sides, slide stop, slide release on both sides. It takes down, you take it down similar to a Glock pistol, so that's kind of nice. It does have the rail for the whatever type of light system you're going to use or laser. So these three basically I would consider to be all in the same family, all in the same group. They're basically a compact pistol, all in 9mm, and some of them have better things than others. First off, I'll start off with triggers. Unfortunately, the gun I am grabbing right now, the Glock 19, though it is an okay style trigger, it is probably the worst out of all three of these for sure. Definitely would say that it has the longest travel, the most grainy trigger feel out of all three of them. If we were to take these two, the HK, this has a much better trigger than the Glock. But when the P10C came along, and this being their first version, like I said earlier, they really hit it out of the park with this when it came to the trigger. It's got a short reset, a very crisp, audible, and tactile feel to it. It's a great pistol along with this one, but if you were to take these three, this would be third place, second place, and first place when it came to the trigger. As far as sights, if you were to take a normal stock Glock sight and utilize it, they're coming plastic. It's always been a complaint for years, and everybody upgrades that. With the Vickers, it did come with these awesome fiber optic front sight and the nice rear in the back. So got to give them kudos for that. It was an additional charge. These are a little more expensive than per se the regular Glock 19. There has been two variants of this pistol built since this one. We have the 19X, and then we also have the new 19. It's they got rid of the finger grooves, flared out the mag a little bit, ambidextrous slide or release or slide stop. Still no front serrations, still plastic front sights and rear sights. Triggers pretty much the same. They have supposedly upgraded the barrel. I have shots, not the greatest. Still, they need to work basically. Now, does it work? Does it protect many people throughout the nation? Of course it does. It's a great gun. You can't go wrong with any of these. This has been, law enforcement's been carrying these for a long time now. Let me jump out here real quick. We got GH586. How you doing, buddy? Let's see. We got Kalashnikov Mania, Glock 17, 19 to 26. I swear by them. The Kalashnikovs of pistols, ugly, bad trigger, but they work every I want. If I want a light trigger, I would use the 1911. So a good cock is a great protector of many people, and it's on one of my things. It's one of my carry guns. I think I've been carrying around lately mostly the Glock 43. So I am still a huge Glock carrier, lover of the Glock. It's just I'm so sick of them not really making anything really. So that's one of their downfalls. When it comes to buying components, obviously the Glock is probably the largest aftermarkets you can get with everything from slides, triggers, mags, so on. Some of the harder ones, especially some of the newer versions, is the P10C is probably they do have internals and other parts you can get for it, but this gun comes so nicely well done stock that most people are not trying to upgrade as they would with the Glock. You're not finding the big, the drum mags or the extended 30-round mags for it. But a carry gun for someone that just wants a bone stock gun. to work for them. The HK VP9, this thing, I tell you, if it hits anything out of the ballpark, which it does, it's a great ergonomics, the best ergonomics probably out of all three of these pistols, at least from my opinion. The back straps, being able to change the side plates as well, that's definitely an option that makes it nice. Depending on if you have small hands, large hands, whatever the case is, you can basically grab this gun, put the correct panels into it, and you will find yourself with a home run. So it's got a good, you can see there's a lot of wear in there on that. This is my son's IDPA rig that he's running. He loves it. It's a great shooter, very accurate. I would say I shoot this much better than I do this. Nothing wrong with this. I can shoot a nice group with this. This just seems to be a little bit tighter, but I believe a lot of it to be the trigger. We'll get into that in a second. So if you're looking for a gun that you can customize, I would definitely say this is probably the top contender for sure. It has more parts and pieces than you'll ever imagine being able to get for it. The HK is just a great right out of the box, you know, concealed carry gun. It's got a lot of nice things about it. Some people really prefer this paddle mag release, if you want to call it the paddle. I am not a huge fan of it, but I don't dislike it as well either. But it is something you need to, if you're carrying it, you need to remember that there is no button. You actually need to, you know, hit the paddles. They all are available and have the ability to carry a night light, which is cool. Talk about that for a second. If you look at the hole in here for your finger area, let me cock that one back so they're all forward. You can see that the Glock is probably the smallest. So if you live in a winter area or you wear gloves a lot, it can be a concern depending on how big your fingers are. I don't think it's too big of a deal. There's plenty of room in here with most style gloves, depending on, unless you're wearing some super heavy ski gloves. But you will notice that between these two, there's probably a little more room than you would see in the Glock. As far as sights, these are basically a luminescent night sight that you have to heat up with some type of lighting from, you know, this is the same thing as well. These are not Trigicon, they're glowing, but it's from the lighting that we're showing. This one's set up a little bit different. Straight, basically concealed carry with the open U in the back with the front fiber optic. All well, all made well. And there is nothing wrong with any of these, I gotta say. No shit that did not look good. What happened here? Oh, here we go. Minimal injuries. Getting back to you guys here. Foo Mouse, how you doing, buddy? Yep, having fun. Some of the options on this model, the 3rd gen with the 19, there is no straps available. This does not change. You cannot switch these out. I really like the gray, but most importantly, I fell in love with this actual grip though. I think it's RT2, something like that. RT2, I believe is what it's called. But it's very like kind of like a Velcro. It's got a great grip to it. So other than that, that's basically it. A lot of these look the same. Let's turn this on. We're looking at the VP9, and we're looking at 1 pound, 7.5 ounces. The Glock 19, 1 pound, 5.6 ounces. And P10C, 1.72. So that one and the VP9 are almost identical. 0.3 ounces difference in those ones. You can see here, if I set it up this way, that the P10C and the Glock 19 they have the one rail here. You got some additional ones on the HK. For the most part, they're all the same thickness. They're all close to the very same weight. This one's a little bit fatter, the VP9 over the P10C. A lot of it has to do with this, which I kind of like. It's you can see it right there. Kind of sticks out a little more than others, so you can grab it and rack it a little bit easier. The P10C and the HK VP9, both mag release or slide. This one's kind of set up. It's got the long thing there, makes it nice and easy because of the leverage. This side here, nice and easy. It's got a good, not aggressive, but enough there to really release the mag on both sides. Works out well. Ambidextrous safety, which is cool. The new Glock Gen 5, basically with the mag. This is you can flip this over. This isn't the version of it, but you can flip over the mag release, so it can be for a left-handed or right-handed, just not at the same time. It does come, again, like I said, with the slide stop or mag release or slide release on both sides. So that's one of the pluses to that. So they're getting better at it. They're just not some killing thing here. Basically, a lot of people like the front serrations. That has been one of the things that people complain about with the Glock version. I don't think it's too much of a big deal. It is nice having the front serrations up here if you want to do that, or whatever the case is, depending on how you utilize your pistol. But there's plenty of them and very aggressive on the P10C. This pistol, I think overall, has everything you'd ever need as far as comfort and trigger. This is definitely a second for sure. And then the Glock, at least the Glocks I've tried, and I've tried lots of different Glocks, I really have not found one that has a great trigger, or even a good trigger for that matter, bone stock out of the box. There is awesome upgrades. You can do pyramid triggers and so on, apex triggers, all great aftermarket triggers, but you're just having to spend the money. This gun here costs more than this one. Even the stock Glock 19 compared to the P10C is a lot more money, well, around 70 bucks or so. And then once you add on some additional steel sights, you're looking at another 70, 80 bucks to 100 and something bucks. Say you want to tweak around with the trigger a little bit, you could be looking at another 150, 200 bucks, depending on how in depth and how much you want to change out. I would say that the P10C, these are okay sights. It's a 3-dot system like all the other ones here, minus the Glock 19. But they, if you want something that has more of a, that you don't have to charge for the night, you probably want to do an upgrade on that as well. A lot of people like the big dots for concealed carry kind of stuff. These ones here, you can see it looks like it has the luminescent, like a tragic, the glow stuff in it, but I don't believe it does. I think you have to charge it. I cannot remember. It's been a while. So those are the 3 options. What do you guys think? What are you running? I know, who was it? No, it wasn't Food Master Chew. You got Live for a While. He says he carries a Glock 19 a lot. Oh, it's Kalashnikov Mania. He loves his Glocks, and I gotta say they're great pistol. No issues with them at all. Turn them this way so you can see the other side, I guess. I just think there's some better stuff out there now. They're all reliable. I think they'd all 3 of these guns, if you put them to the test, I think they would all pass the same rigorous testing that any of them have to go through. So I don't think there's a bonus there. They're all reliable, well-made precision guns that I think will serve anybody to protect them in a concealed carry format. I don't think one of them is more reliable than the other. What do you guys think? John Liffer Wild, he's wanting to get the P10C. I got to tell you, the trigger on this thing is bitching. So everything's empty, like I said. Let me see. Let me go back here so I can see what you're saying. The Mountain Man's out there. Measuring Grains is out there. Appreciate you guys showing up. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. The Crazy Scotsman. Who else is out there? If I missed your name, type something in and I'll hit you up. So here is the P10C. Nice smooth all the way to the wall, and then just a nice clean break. The reset is short. That's the reset, and a nice crisp second round, basically. We'll go to the next one, the VP9, which is definitely better than the Glock 19. Gun is unloaded. This one has it's a little crunchier. It's a little softer. There is no real wall. You can kind of see when I pulled that back the first time I had it fire. It's got when it resets, it's kind of got this thing where it like jumps back. So right there's the wall, but it's a wall right next to the trigger. It's not as too stagey per se. That feel. Here's the reset. So the reset's a little bit longer than the VP or the P10C. It's definitely a way smoother trigger. If you were talking about smooth, it's not as gritty as the Glock. And we'll get into the Glock. Here's the reset again, if you guys can remember the length of this. So that's it right there. It's just weird because it pushes your finger out, and then you have to go back to the wall again. Where the P10C, this is already shot. When you get to the reset, it's just a nice tactile and a smooth, crisp trigger, like breaking glass, basically. And then, let me reset this password because it's trying to log off. Hey, Big Al, how you doing out there, buddy? I'm going to shoot my eye out. So this one is obviously unloaded as well. So the wall's a lot better on the Glock, meaning you can feel the wall a lot easier than you can with the HK VP9. It's a little grittier to get there though. And it's a heavy pound. It feels, it's a lot more than like this is right around 5 pounds. This is probably around 6.5, somewhere in there. I don't have a scale to show you, but it's definitely, you can see the reset. If you didn't mind a heavier trigger, which is really good in concealed carry kind of pistol, I'm almost liking this one a little bit better right now than this one. This one seems a lot spongier. There's a lot there to travel. There is no wall. There's really not much of a wall on this one. It's definitely a, I think the reason why I shoot this one more accurately than the Glock is you're not having to get past the wall on that trigger. I don't know. I would take any of them. I mean, I have all 3 of them. They're all mine. I like them all. If I could only have one. Big Al says, Glock? Did you say Glock? Did you mean Gluck? My broke ass is still using the SCC. Yeah. I know, Bobby. That sucks, brother. It's a great gun, though. If I could only pick one, I would pick this one right here. Great price, awesome trigger. It's got adjustable back straps, has a great feeling, ergonomics. This one still is better ergonomically, the HK VP9. But comparing this pistol to this pistol, this, especially right around here, it's just more comfortable. This is a little more square, a little more blocky, which is fine. Still loving the Glock 19, of course. But if I could only availability of having the the mag well on both sides, which is kind of cool. This is also steel compared to the Glock being a polymer mag release. If you want to talk about mags, you got this one is for the CZ P10C. This is my conversion from a California compliant one to an actual one made in America or for America. So that is all steel construction, plastic base plate, plastic or polymer base style. I will say that reloading mags using your thumbs, it is a little bit nicer to reload mags with the Glock 19 because these edges as you're reloading the bullets, it's just a little sharper right here where the lips are. But other than that, I mean, it's not really a big deal. So that's some of the things. Glock obviously has a lot more options. You can run the Glock 17 mag in there. Yes, that is a loaded mag, but you can definitely put those in there so you get a little more round capacity if you want. As far as the VP9, those are also steel, constructed of steel, so those are, you know, nice and durable as well. I really don't think either way. These mags have been around so long. They've done a great job. So you kind of see I got Glock 19 on there. I got so many mags now. I got to try to keep track of all this stuff. So let's see, that one's for a 17. That one's for a 19. Or you can obviously put it in the 17. But those are some of the things. I think they all hit home runs. And I don't know. Let's get back to you guys and see what you got. Buy a mag loaded cheapskate. I got one. I got the Tula, Upla, or whatever the hell it's called. Works great, but I don't use it much until the end of the day. Well, let's see. Let me go back to see what you guys have to say. Let's see. If you guys could only pick one of these three, what would you guys pick? I'd love to hear your answer. You only get one for a concealed carry gun. Would love to hear what you got to say. This is not the new camera measured in grains. This is just my regular one I bought a few years ago. What sucks about the new camera is in order for you guys to really get the bonus of it, I have to download it in 1080, and the internet in North Carolina sucks, at least where I'm at. It takes forever. Let's see. Let's see. Your ammo killed a dog that got hit by a truck on the roof. You guys got all sorts of stuff set. CZ, and my second choice would be another CZ. JH586 also said CZ. Big L saying CZ. And Live for a While says a Glock. Fu Master Chew, I'd have to go with the CZ for carry. Amazing grip, texture, and trigger. It is a freaking phenomenal trigger. I love this trigger. Some of the things are finding mags for it and that kind of stuff. If you're trying to get stuff through your local gun store, it's definitely going to be harder to find stuff like like holsters and that. But a lot of holsters, the Glock 19 and the P10C work together. Let's see if I can find a holster real quick. So here's my favorite. I will plug Harry's holster. I actually liked them so much, I called him the other day and said, man, I need to get another holster for my Glock 43. I've been trying to carry appendix style more. There is some positive pluses to it, and that's the reason why you see this one. But this is made by Harry's Holster, and he does phenomenal work. So plug to Harry's Holster. This is the silverish gray carbon fiber Kydex. It has the claw, and it has whatever this is called. At first I didn't know if I'd like this stuff. This basically pushes your pants. Your pants push it in to keep your grip into your abdomen to hopefully hide it a little more, less printing. This right here on the other end kind of gives you a little more comfort and pushes in the same manner, the same thing. But what I do like about it is, me personally, hey Walter, thanks for showing up. I prefer not to wear a belt most of the time. So having this on here, you can see that, this on here along with this clipped in to my, just into my pants, I don't have to worry about it when I draw the weapon, you know, it coming up out of my pants as well. All this stuff will bind up nice and perfect, and it gives me the ability not to have to carry a belt sometimes, which is cool. Yeah, the Dunlop cover the rear of the slide. Does the Dunlop cover the rear of the slide? Yes, some of it does. But what's nice about it, and we'll get back into the holsters, but when this is in your, I'm right-handed, so I don't know if this is going to show you guys on screen, but when this is in your pants, this is pushing in. So here's my stomach here. It's pushing it in and making it so that the grip is not just hanging out like that. If this is my body, it's actually pushing it into my side a little more. Still easy to get a nice draw. So again, Harry's Holster, if you guys are interested. But back to the topic I was talking about was, and I don't even know, I haven't tested this out yet, but a lot of the Glock and P10C stuff are compatible. This is a little tight, but that's the reason Harry makes such great work, is when you put this in, it fits just the most beautiful fitting holster I've ever had. So it covers up the mag release, which is nice. You don't have to worry about your pants bumping into it, especially being ambidextrous. So you can kind of see there. But on most holsters, and this one is very, 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 this is made by Compact. This is kind of one of your, it's called Phalanx Defense Systems. This holster is set up to like fit tons of different holsters, which is kind of cool if you're a gun reviewer. You know, like here's the HK VP9, fits in there nice. This is the Glock 19, fits in there very nice. This is the P10C, fits in there very nice. You heard them all click in, you heard them all work well. This is a good thing if you say you're a YouTube guy and you're going to review a bunch of different guns that day and you don't want to take it off. They also make this in out of the waistband holster. This is set up as a inside the waistband, but you'll notice that this is set up where you can actually still hit the mag release. Let's see if this one does as well. So yeah, you can still have the possibility of hitting the mag release. And this one here, even with the paddle mag release, it made it in, but I can see it maybe catching. But they all, this is a kind of, it's a very cheap holster. This is kind of just for, you know, they sell these at the gun shop, and it fits all sorts of different stuff. But if you want a holster that you're gonna use and carry every day, and you're gonna want something, you know, well made, this is it right here. One of Harry's holsters, appendix carry holster. So can't wait to get my Glock 43 one. Should be coming in the mail pretty soon, so can't wait. All right, so what do you guys got to say? Howdy 6. Why the appendix carry? I like I'm usually, let me just say, I'll go back about a year ago. I used to be a big like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I noticed when I was driving, I really can't get to my holster very well. It's definitely easier to conceal sometimes, but actual concealability, I would say appendix is way more concealable. It's a lot easier to hide your pistol, in my opinion. Maybe my body shape, whatever the case is. I do have a little belly, so it kind of hides over this a little bit. And then you got to reach under my fat, and so it definitely seems to hide it a little better. Pluses and minuses, I don't think there really is one. There is times when it's easier to grab your pistol at 3, 4 o'clock than it is appendix, but most of the time, I don't know. I'm basically trying to pretend I am a skinny guy, and appendix is basically what I'm going with. I've been doing more testing appendix than I have the other way. Sly Tiger says, I love the VP9 and G-19. I'd like a 40 CZ P10C. I haven't shot the 40. I love the 9. The 9's great. So thanks for showing up, Sly Tiger. Appreciate it. Tattooed Dragons in the house. Love handles, hide more. Exactly. It's kind of more uncomfortable, but if you're standing all day long, say you're doing whatever and you're outside, I like the appendix carry over the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. If I'm going to sit a bunch, like in a vehicle or something, I kind of just prefer to take it out and have it somewhere on the car, easy to get to. But if say I jump in somebody else's vehicle and it's there, that was the reason. I'll give you guys a good example. That was the reason why I ended up calling Harrison over at Harry's Holster. And I said, hey, Harry, I'd like to order this exact same thing, but for the Glock 43. And he's all, okay, and he's asking questions because, he's a holster designer. He's a guy that wants feedback from holsters. And I'm like, okay, well, here's what's happening. I said, basically you're getting pressure on your groin at the end of this. And I was figuring if I went with a shorter gun, appendix carry still, same spot. I just want to kind of see the difference, if it's more comfortable, less comfortable, whatever the case is. And he started talking and comparing some of what he's gone through as far as the way the pressure points are and stuff like that. We were talking about different locations besides like straight up above your groin, maybe over to the right a little bit, 12:30, 1 o'clock. And, if you can still lift your leg up right here, it should be fine. We talked about all that, said, yeah, I've been doing all that. I just kind of want to try a shorter barrel, pistol. It's not going to be much shorter, but there will be a little bit. And that might be, if you're going to be in a car a lot and say you're riding with someone else, you don't want to take your pistol out of your pants for some reason, trying that out may be a better option as well. So ankle carry, I have never tried ankle carry. I have friends that have, I have friends that do, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's for me. I don't think bending over is a, then I got to push my fat out of the way and lean down, get my ankle. So we got Sly Tiger saying CZ is literally up there with HK and SIG now. See, me, I'm not a big SIG fan. I will tell you, the one CZ I really enjoy shooting out of all of them, it was that 365. I actually shot that really well. I am not in love with their bore over axis sights, the sight over bore height. I kind of grew up with a Glock, something low profile like this. That's the reason why I like the CZ. But some of the SIGs got really high barrel over bore, and it's just like, I don't like it. I think it's just a look thing. I know they shoot really well. They do nice groups, but I just can't. I'm not a SIG fan. The only SIG I really liked was that 365. That was an actual fun gun to shoot, very accurate, and it was pretty sweet. The CZ has the tactical mystique. So especially right now, it's all hidden in its ninja. I was actually I wasn't surprised that these guys had won the handgun of 2017. I think they did an exceptional job, especially for their first striker fire, coming up with such a phenomenal firearm. I kind of busted old Glock up a little bit earlier, saying these guys come out their first year out as a striker fire and get handgun of the year. And these guys, Glock has been doing stuff to improve, but man, it's just like baby steps. It's like iPhones. It's like, you know, okay, we'll give you a little bit better camera. We have a better camera we could give you, but we're not going to give it to you. We're going to wait 2 more years, you know, and it's just kind of like tiny little steps. When these guys come right out of the gate, boom, here's a nice striker fire pistol. Hope you enjoy it for a good price. Bam. We got a Warsaw Patriot. He likes the 92 Beretta. That's a nice pistol. FS and the CZ75B. Those ones we could talk about, but they're kind of not in this category in my idea. Warsaw, this is more of the compact. The ones you're looking at, in my personal opinion, I would call those more of a full size. This would be a totally different comparison. Just like if I was to put the Glock 43 against like a, you know, like a SIG 365 or the Shield, kind of like trying to keep them in, you know, more of a comparable apples to apples. The SR9C, I haven't shot that one. What do you think of that one? Walter Miner hits it home run on that comment right there. Unless Glock does a remarkable huge change, it's just a Glock. And when I say it's just a Glock, it is probably one of the most reliable, durable, but I would consider all 3 of these guns would pass the same exact test. But it's just nothing magical. There's no magical changes. Basically, heating this up and flaring it out a little to make it a bigger mag well. Wow. You know, getting rid of the finger grooves. I have Glock Gen 1 40 versions of the 17, which is the 22, but like the 17. And that gun, shit, I've had that gun 20-something years now. And they're basically going backwards in time in order to get to the point where they're pretending they're doing an upgrade. They still got the shitty sights on them. You know, there is no magical, real new Glock that came out. So on the SR9C, I have seen that gun. I just haven't shot it. The top, he says his slide is bulky. Yeah, it seems like some of those guns, they really try to beef them up, which, especially in a 9mm, you're not getting too crazy with, you know, pressures and stuff. Slide Tiger's got the Gen 419 with Trijicon. Yep, great gun. I gotta say, there's nothing wrong with those at all. That's why they sell so many of them. They work. Yes, 586. I'm considering these compact. I would consider like the Glock 43 in that style, the Shield like a subcompact, and then like the Car P380s, the Diamondback P3 or the Diamondback D380, that style, like a micro or pocket kind of little guys. I'll try a Strike Fire FN or a CZ P10C Strike Fire. I tell you what, Striker Fire, you get a consistent pull. You know, you're not getting that first heavy double action kind of deal. And it's consistent. And most people, you know, that maybe start off depending on when they grew, when they became the age to shoot, or when they started shooting. If they started shooting with their grandpa's 1911 style, where it's, you know, they're used to a really nice trigger. Most of us that grew up like kind of the 80s and then started, you know, bought Glocks when they first started coming out, were like, man, these Striker Fires are nice. And that's kind of how I started. So I've always been like a big Striker Fire fan. Kind of was at one point, I'm like, I don't want anything with a hammer on it. And then when I started shooting more competitively and shooting with guys that are shooting, you know, nice 2011s, I kind of converted over to shooting something with a nicer trigger pull and fell in love with that. Still a little, I still carry this style Striker Fire for concealed carry, because I'd probably forget to push down the safety. So I'm always staying with Striker Fire, at least for now. You got JH 586. It has the Smith & Wesson Shield and the CZ 75BD, but it seems like I have full size or subcompacts. See, here's an example of a shield, and the shield is just that much smaller. It's a different gun. It's a single stack. It's a lot thinner. That's the reason why I don't put it in the category of, I don't put it in the same category. As far as the, like an SP01 tactical, the Glock, here's a Glock 22. So you can kind of see how much longer it is than the compacts. So this would be a full-size frame, basically, like a duty-size weapon. And then you have a shield. So you kind of got three versions there. I have enough pistols where I can do conversions between more of a full-size gun compared to a compact to a subcompact. So that's kind of, there's really not much difference between like a 17 or a 22. This is a 22, but it's basically the same thing. You can see everything I tell you guys is the truth, because this is a Gen 1 Glock 22. Been shooting Glocks forever. You can kind of see, let's see if I got that. But this is how I've always run my Glocks, with skate tape. This gun I used to shoot IDPA. You can see I got a lot of old skin stuck on that. A lot of old skin stuck on there. This is a bone stock Glock right here. And that's what she looks like. That's how she looked when I bought her, minus the grip tape. You know, and if I was to flare this mag out by heating it up with a heat gun, it would basically be the new Gen 5. Minus the slide stop, slide release, ambidextrous style, and the rail. You got Sly Tiger says he remembers the 45 hype train in the 80s. Then people realized the 147 9mm is almost identical to the 230 45 ball. The only difference is 1 pound of energy. Yeah, there's not much difference. I kind of jumped into it when the FBI basically said that the 9mm wasn't penetrating enough. So I kind of started off like I have a Glock 24. You guys have probably seen that on some of my other videos. It's the first gen Glock long slide that they ever came out with. I mean, it's another inch longer than that. And that's a gen, whatever the first year they came out with them was, whatever, if you want to call it the first gen. Love that gun. But I bought them in 40 originally for the whole limited minor major crap. back in the day that they still have now, but you can see that there's really not much any changes between a Glock first gen and the new 5. I mean, this is a Glock Gen 3, so there's finger grooves, but the one that TR, I had bought a 35 not too long ago, and I basically ground off all the finger grooves, got rid of all the normal Glock stippling. I think that the Glock stippling that they have and have had for a while suck. I mean, if your hands are even a little bit moist, it's slippery. They could have done a way better job, especially like this RT2 grip is way better than that grip that they have out there. They're selling right now brand new on the Glocks. I think it's horrible. So I don't really like that. I would much prefer something more aggressive like this P10C. This thing really just, especially this front strap here, just kind of, I mean, it grips into your fingers along here on the back of your palm. Great gun. You can see I'm not a liar. I mean, I put grip tape on pretty much anything that's too damn smooth. I put grip tape on. These are all carry guns, or were. I don't really carry this gun around anymore. But along my body here, you know, I don't have any grip tape. But on the side where I can get a full grip with one hand, I have grip tape on it because they don't make an aggressive enough grip. I would rather have a grip that's very aggressive. And this one, man, when it's along your body, you'll know it's there because it'll grind you. It'll grind you. I don't know how many thumbs up we have, but I always like to say, hey, if you get a chance, hit the thumbs up button, because if you stuck around this long, why not? You got any questions about any of these? But the difference between a subcompact, a compact, and a full size. Let me put these so they're level. But there's quite a bit of difference there. The XDs are not bad pistols. I'd put them over the M&Ps any day. Hey, Captain Shark, thanks for showing up. Daniel got as my judge. Appreciate it. I'm not an XD fan. I know that they shoot accurately. There's something about them I don't like. Remember, this is just me talking. I do not I do not prefer all the extra safety gadgets they put on a striker fired gun because I don't really want them. I know that if my finger's not in the trigger guard and I don't need all the back, even my competition guns that are 2011s that have the, you know, the dovetail with the back strap safety and all that, they're all pinned. They're all pinned. I don't have to, you know, worrying about getting the perfect grip if I'm competing. As long as it's I'm pointing in the right direction, I can pull the trigger. I don't, yeah, Slide Tiger saying the bore axis, I don't like that. It's, to me, it's comparable with the SIGs. Nothing wrong with any of those, but I just, something about the axis of the bore, just I'm not liking it. And I think a lot of that has to do with starting off with Glock. The 45s don't shrink. The bore axis is probably trying to catch up to you guys. A lot of guys carried 1911s in the 80s because it came home from Vietnam. Totally agree with that, Walter. Yeah, a lot of our veterans came back. They were used to shooting 1911s, you know, cocked and locked and ready to rock, basically. And if you are familiar with that platform and you utilize that and you've been using that, and that's been protecting you for years, to keep on with it. Myself personally, I've more grew up as a concealed carrier with a striker fire, so that's kind of where I've been staying. If the SIG 320s had a grip safety, there would have been a recall. Oh, if the SIG 320s had a grip safety, there wouldn't have been a recall. Yeah, exactly. I understand that. I mean, having extra safety things is a big deal. Like when I bought this, you know, this was the big Shield had two options. They had the safety and the non-safety version. When I bought this, though, at the time, this was the only version available. It's still set up where it has the trigger and the safety like a Glock style, but for people that concealed carry that preferred to have that, and this never got in my way. I always left it off, and it was a perfectly fine pistol. I never bumped it or had to worry about it, you know, up or down. It's in there well enough and strong enough either way where you can utilize it as both. It's not going to fall down or be bumped up unless you actually use your finger. But it's an option for people that feel more comfortable carrying. A lot of people that conceal carry, especially when they first start, are worried about stuff like that. Like, you know, there's people out there that carry conceal that don't even carry around in the chamber. And me personally, I think it's just a matter of them getting used to carrying a loaded firearm on their side. I think as you grow as a concealed carrier and you conceal carry longer and longer, you know, a lot of those things kind of go away. You're more likely to carry with the round in the chamber and that kind of stuff. If you really need this at the time, do you really want to have to cock the slide back and, you know, get one into the chamber, or would you rather just draw it and pull it and shoot it if you needed to? Walter Miner is a 1911 is his main carry. I'm only in polymer world last 4 years. Okay, so yeah, and a lot of it has to do with a 1911 on your side, especially a full frame 1911 is flipping heavy after a while. A long day of walking, say you're shopping for Christmas shopping or whatever the case is, that thing starts to wear on you after a while. You're like, man, I kind of wish I had a polymer gun, something a little bit lighter. And you know, as times go, you got more things like this that you can carry and more options. Call me old-fashioned. I can't stand polymer. Well, Daniel, I'm going to call you old-fashioned because these guns right here are just as reliable as every steel one you have. But I agree with what you're saying. Some people, as far as they have preferences, and your preference is steel. So rock on with your sock on. There's nothing wrong with that. Other than that, I think a good polymer gun is nice. It's lighter. You know, it's funny when the Glock first came out, they were like, oh, these things can go through x-rays and you can bring them on planes and, you know, we're going to have all this issue. I mean, come on, look at all the steel in this thing still. I go through an airport all the time and I can barely squeeze by with a penny in my pocket, let alone freaking a slide of a Glock in there. Not happening. Laughing at I fall a lot. I'm getting a P226. I only had striker polymer pistols. I'm afraid I'll break it with my fat ass. Well, Daniel, you're not going to break it, buddy. Tattooed Dragon. My thing is, if you are being physically attacked, you will want to grab a handful of gun and not a mouse gun. But any gun is better than nothing. I agree. I don't think there's a difference. So if you were to take this one here, this Glock 19, and we'll pretend this is a 17, you're not going to get any difference. Now, if you are talking mouse guns, which I would even consider smaller than this, obviously. This is a shield here. Where the hell's the camera? There it is. Yeah, if you start getting to a small gun, it's definitely way better than not having anything at all. But I'm not really the person that would say, hey, carry a 22 long rifle pistol as your concealed carry either. I think you should have a larger caliber than that. I would say, me personally, I'm 380 and larger. As far as concealed carrying, that would be something that I would push to my friends. 9mm and is probably the most go-to round I would push for people carrying. But then there's those instances where, you know, say your wife likes to jog in the woods and she can't really carry around, say, pistol X because it's too big or cumbersome, or she doesn't want to see it. And then you're like, okay, we'll carry something like this around then. And she's like, well, that's still too heavy, blah, blah, blah. It makes me look fat, whatever kind of dumb, lame excuse your wife wants to say. Something smaller than this, maybe, you know, those Derringer 2-shot things. I'm not a big fan of those either, but man, that's way better than nothing for sure. I'm waiting for the P365 to un-F itself by SIG. The SIG, man, that 365, the one I shot, had about 900, 1,000 rounds through it. No failures, and I had a chance to shoot it. It was a friend of mine's carry gun. I was thoroughly impressed with that gun, and I am not a SIG fan at all. We got, hey, Garage Guy 879's out there picking up a SIG 2022 357 SIG this week. Nice. PPQ 45, Tattoo Dragon said. I can tell you, you guys are probably gonna hate me, but I do not own 145. I don't own 145, which is pretty crazy for a guy that's been collecting guns since he was old enough to do it. The 40 was my favorite round, so I was like, I got more rounds than a 45. I'm good with it. I've been kind of only shooting, for the most part, 9mm when it comes to concealed stuff now, and 40 for competition or 9mm. So I haven't shot 45. I don't like the round count. I don't think I really need one. I don't want to have to get another die set and have to reload a whole nother round when 9mm is as good as a 40 now. Very close to a 45. It's like my 40s and my 9s are close enough. Like, I like the platform. I like the 45 idea, but I just didn't want to have to start reloading another round. I didn't want to have to start collecting brass. I didn't want to have to buy more bullets for a different cartridge. I'm just like, the hell with it. I'm not doing it. No, thank you. So other than that, that's basically it. This video is probably way too long. I know you guys are out there. 15 thumbs up. I appreciate it. Out of 20 of you guys watching, so that's pretty good. That's not too shabby. I'll give that a B. But other than that, like I said, kind of recap of the video, you really can't go wrong with the P10C, the Glock 19, or the VP9 made by HK. So Chico Wise is back out there again. He's got the 19 and the 30. Now he's got the 07, which is basically the same as the 19. Shot placement is everything. Yeah, I agree. If you're shooting a BB gun and you get shot with a BB gun a million times, it still ends up being the same as like a 9mm, right? If one good shot. Shot placement is definitely more important than, you can miss 100 times, still not as good as one 9mm or 122 long rifle for that matter. Captain Shark's running the 45 instead of the 9 so that when I die, I go to heaven. John Wayne won't ask me why my husband. Oh, that's an awesome. I like that, Captain Shark. That's good stuff. John Wayne is one badass. God rest his soul. I like that. Good stuff. You guys take care. Be safe. Stay warm outside or inside. It's cold. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful night. Don't forget, I think Rich 1911 is doing his chat tonight. I should be coming around here in a little bit, so be on the lookout for that. If you guys want to hang out and do some more chatting. Walter Miner's got one important point before we leave. Learn to operate all platforms. Don't only know 1911. Learn Beretta, Glock, etc. May have to pick up any gun to stay alive. Good point. Great point for sure. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully, maybe I'll see you on Rich's chat tonight. Adios, muchachos. Vanessa, have a good night. Bye.